Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check.
Live in the studio with us this morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make some noise for the man, aka Real Drumz, FKAA Atumpan, FKAA Kwame. Yeah, nice to have you.
Wild.
Yeah, welcome. Before we even go into the conversation, don't forget to discover a world of innovation, a world of luxury, a world many of us dream of owning. It's a world of Bang & Olufsen. Listen, I tell you what, every single time you pass by their showroom at Atlantic Towers, Liberation Road, on that stretch 37 to the Accra Mall stretch, and you find their office or their showroom, ground floor of that Atlantic Tower building, you find Drew-worthy equipment like, home theater, speakers, headphones, TV sets, soundbar products. They're released month on month, day on day, year on year. You find it all there. Sweet. Go check it out. You might need money to pass through as well. So just dial star 959 hash on that 590 mobile game at Dawunsem. Sikan at Dawunsem. So find my money, play that game, make that money, and go shopping. Get it? And when you're going shopping, don't tell your friends about it too, because they'll follow you and they'll help you finish and squander the money. Anyway, so 9 star 959 hash. You get yourself in the game all the way from Monday to Sunday. Games to be played. You can't miss out on any of them, and you stand a chance of winning big. They say 590 mobile at Dawunsem. And also, listen, quite a number of movies showing around in the Silverbed cinemas right now. Expendables 4, Aquaman, Lost Kingdom, Marvels, Paw Patrol, many other global busters, all live inside Ghana's number one, cinema, and of course cinema franchise, I must add that to it. It's Silverbed Cinemas. You can go on their website. It's silverbedcinemas.com/West Hills or /Accra, and you can go and check out more movies. It's all about entertainment. More inquiries, call 0544-310-410. This one, Cyril will like it, because are you an upcoming musician? Not because he's an upcoming musician. No, let me finish. Do you think you have the talent to create hit songs? Cyril creates hit songs. If so, Fiesta Condoms is offering you a chance to win a fantastic prize. Cyril, make some noise for Cyril and Fiesta Condoms. Yo. Boroma. Cereal, yo!
God, please take him away.
Take him away, Elia.
More like raw.
Listen. Now, let me tell you this, all right? So, if Fiesta Condoms is offering you a fantastic prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis in the Fiesta Wrap It Up Challenge, it's easy. Okay, now listen. Produce a 1-minute jingle for Fiesta Condoms. Okay, make sure your jingle highlights at least 3 of the Fiesta variants. Ensure it's well recorded. Develop a captivating dance routine for a TikTok challenge. Hold on. Let me put you on the spot right now. So give me some bars for freestyle on Fiesta.
Oh.
Please.
That'll be hard.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, is this Cereal? Freestyle is like Cereal.
Okay. No, not like it will be hard, like it will be difficult to.
It will be hard.
Give us hard bars.
Yeah, hard bars.
Yeah.
Hard bars.
Well, you mean even in the United Kingdom, we use Fiesta condom on the girls with the big bum bums.
Hey.
I think.
Oh, you still expect me?
Yes, I'm still expecting.
Okay, so when you and Shorty link up, it's a party like Fiesta. It doesn't matter her name, Afi or Esther. Make sure you've got it covered. Never be bothered. Latex, smooth thing. Be rubber.
I used to be like you. I used to be like you.
Yeah. I know. Your lessons help.
You make me proud.
That's a hard bar.
That's a hard bar. Yes. It has penetrated everybody's mind.
So Real Drumz will do the singing.
Exactly. So both the jingle and the video to wrap it up. That's like WRAP ITUP. Get it, wrap it up at fiestacondomsgh.com. The deadline is 30th September. All right, stay updated by following all Fiesta Condoms Ghana on social media pages for more information. Remember, terms and conditions definitely apply. I'll be telling you more about the stuff I have for you, but let's get into the conversation with Real Drumz live in the studio, bro.
Yo.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here, man.
You've been away for a minute. For like how many years now? When did you eventually? I mean, you've been in and out, but
now.
Over a decade.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years now.
How's life been being away from Ghana? Not politically.
Yeah, man, it's been great, man. It's been a blessing, to be honest. Yeah.
Let's go back to the transition from the very first stay with music-wise, in the UK, how the link-up happened. Just run us through that whole storyline as well.
Yeah, I used to be in Winneba at the time. I was in university at the time, and I had released a track called Soloku, and I was promoting that track at the time.
Yeah.
And I also put out the thing at the same time. But my focus was on Soloku because that was bubbling in Central Region, and so that was what my focus was. But at the same time, I used to do a lot of Facebook sharing and things like that until I heard that my music was doing very well in Europe. At that time, it had not actually started doing well here, So one DJ at the time called me and asked me, "Do you have Skype?" And I was like, "Well, what's that?" Because I didn't even have Skype at the time. So I had to go register for Skype. And one evening, he actually Skyped me, showing how my music was doing in the club in Holland at the time. Yeah. And it was massive at the time.
What do you think? Let's go back to, because in here we've discussed heavily. We've schooled ourselves, had a lot of masterclass sessions on trying to just break down to understand how things, happen the way they happen.
Yeah.
What do you think made the song blow out? Rhythm, lyrics, something? What was the magic?
You know what? If you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have said maybe it's my talent or whatever. But now, being back and watching, and I think it's just ghost time. All right, there's no formula to this game. It's just time. That's what I think it is. But even though there's that element of ghost time in it, there's also something called readiness and hard work. All right. So when you put in a lot of work and you're ready, then when that time comes, then it can always blow. I think that's what was happening at that time. But mainly it's ghost time. Yeah.
What was the link up with the brand like? I'm just taking myself out of the picture in this conversation, but it was at a time when yes, there had been records from our then artists, the Tic Tacs and co, who had blown massively in the UK. But you also presented a fresh breath of new music onto the airwaves that was not, accepting
the norm at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't take you out of the equation because what happened was still in Uniba. I had a call from you at the time. You were like, "Listen, I've heard that song. I want to get involved." And I came, saw you, and then you took over and started the management. And then, however, in London at the time, we didn't know that it was blowing in London at the time until they came to do a show here called with Jay Holiday and Mario, if you remember.
Oh yes.
So when they came, I think they were on one other TV station at the time. And they asked the panel, so Jay Holiday, Mario, and I think DJ Branty and some other, organizers, and they asked them what Ghanaian songs they knew at the time, and they said it's only my song they knew at the time. And I think that week, when they said they didn't know any other song apart from You Don't Know that week the song blew in Ghana. That was the week that it went everywhere. Because but I think at the time also kudos to YFM because you were Killer Fingers. I think he's the first person that played it in YFM at the time, and so YFM was on the groove or was playing it at the time. But I think when they came and said on TV that the only song they knew at the time that's when all the other stations got on it.
Guys, I know you've spoken heavily about trying to understand some of the myth behind the breakouts of some of these songs, and I'm taking that song in particular because that song went real far,
and it's still big.
It's
in
still
London.
big. Yeah,
it's still big in the UK.
I'm just trying to understand because what was he being said in there was not anything extraordinary. Small girl, you don't know the thing. I'm teaching you the thing. It wasn't like anything extraordinary. Rhythm was sweet.
But also remember that the word "the thing" is a big slang in England. All right, so in England, if you say that's my thing, it means that's my girl or something like that.
My chucho mucho.
Yeah, so it's a big slang. That's why. If you remember when that song came out and I was having a lot of controversy, people were bashing me because they were thinking of the sexual element.
Right.
In the UK, they were not looking at it from that because it was a normal thing for them. Do you understand? It was normal. So I remember going back to the UK and telling them that, well, even at the time I had been nominated for Ghana Music Awards and some religious or some group came to say that they have to take me out because my song was so devilish. You know, you remember, isn't it? Yeah. And they had put me on a lot of billboards and things, and they took it all down.
Wow.
And they didn't involve me in there. Was, you know, when they go around to do that, they took me out. It was a tough moment for me at the time, and I was just bubbling. I was just coming up. However, when we went and narrated the story in the UK, they were like, "Oh, we don't see that." Do you understand?
Yeah.
However, the UK also wanted to do something that would still benefit my country. So at the time, they said, all right, cool. If Ghana thinks it's bad, then change the word to Rude Girl. So that's why we've got two versions. So I had to re-record the song in the UK and re-release it to Rude Girl, You Don't Know the Thing. Because they thought that they couldn't do something that my own country were just, you know.
Did that in any way affect, you know, the music, its originality and all that?
No, it didn't. Remember, for the UK, the ting was a thing. That phrase, the ting, was what it's a slang. You know, so for them, you know, and most people don't even know the difference because remember when we released it there, they didn't play Small Girl no more. So the ones that went on mainstream radio was Rude Girl, You Don't Know the Thing. You know, so what happens is if I go to the UK to do a show for a Ghanaian community, I'll play Small Girl, You Don't. But if I do a mainstream show, I'll do Rude Girl, You Don't. That's what I used to do.
So what I want to find out is, at the time you did the thing, had you visited London already or visited England already?
No.
So
I had never traveled.
So so I'm curious to find out where you got how you got to know about the slang. Did you hear it in the movie? Did you hear it in the song? You're like, okay, it would be a
no.
nice way.
I didn't have. Listen, when I was making that song, I didn't have any idea of slang being used anywhere. You know, it was just a vibe at the time. And also, I think in my mind, I was trying to do a little bit. I was doing it a little patois rather than a UK slang, if you get what I'm saying.
So the reason I'm asking is not to hold brief for the people
who felt like
it, because looking at it from a cultural point of view, you would understand why they would say it's not.
No, I don't have no. It's just I'm just telling you a story. Like,
I understand. And I'm also saying that it's very interesting you brought this point because we have songs beyond the thing. We have songs that, you know, they seem to be have been appropriated culturally, wrongly or rightfully, depending on where you are.
I get your point, but also one thing that you need to know is that how did that song come about? Because I used to be a teacher, and this is a true story, you know, and it's a true story, all right? So I used to teach in Kaneshi Secondary High School, all right?
Wow.
So I was teaching, all right?
What subject, if you don't mind?
I used to teach English language,
okay,
all right?
right, yeah.
So one of my students was sitting at the back at the time and misbehaving. You know, when you're teaching, and I was like, yo, you don't know the thing. I'm teaching you the thing and you're playing with the thing. That's all I said. All right. Until date, anyone who was in the school at the time will tell you, all the kids started, you don't know the thing, I'm teaching you the thing.
Yeah,
you know, it became like a something, and that's why I used it for the song.
So it was about a class.
Yeah, so that's why when I got chastised so much for profanity, it almost killed me. It was like, this is coming from a divine place, you know, and the whole world took it but
how did that also further impact your career and then your songwriting and then your mental as well? Because I understand how you are on a trajectory of maybe getting an award and then all of a sudden
a rapid rise to fame and
everything
success.
is brought down, everything
hard.
is sort of stifled.
It was hard. A lot of my shows, I believe at that time, within a few months, got dropped. Yeah. He's my manager. He knew what we went through. It was the hardest time in my career.
Crazy.
It was the hardest time. Some people some World Bank people said, nah, we don't need that guy.
Ooh.
It was the hardest thing for me, you know. But the good thing is that when Jay signed me at the time, he got expertise. He got people to teach me how to even talk in public, how to do interviews. So many things happened behind the scenes. So anytime I went out to talk about, you know, I knew how to articulate myself. I knew how to dodge certain questions and all of that was I was
Don't mind him.
trained.
The beauty of what he's sharing is he's an English teacher. So one would think it should be easy for you to go into an interview and.
But one thing I know about him was, he was very hungry. That much I can tell you. You know, he was hungry for it to work. Big shouts to Kobe, one who came here to talk with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kobe
so I
Boss.
mean,
Winneba.
Yeah, from Winneba. Yeah,
Hard.
big shouts go out to Kobe. I mean, and I always also wanted to talk about the technicality of the business that you learned in transitioning from Ghana to the UK. Now, I mean, clearly where we are now, I'm just so excited to see that Ghanaian artists now don't look towards just the music, the passion any longer. It's now like if you want to do a song, you really have to know the back end of the business before you even try and get into the business in the first place. But at that time, we're talking what 2000 and what
2011,
12 thereabouts, 2011, 2012. In that transition, what did these foreign lands present to you that you would never forget technically about the business?
A lot of things. I got to learn a lot. So in Ghana, one of the first things that stood out with me was like, so someone wants to book you for a show, they will call you, say, well, right, bro, I'm a show with mommy, you know, and then it's okay, speak to my manager, and that became problematic at the time. It was always a big thing. Now I don't know, because I was a man who can't show manager, you know, that kind of thing. However, when I started traveling, you go to places, people will come to you and say, yo, I really need you for a show, all right? Is there an email I can a management email? That was the first difference, because no one wanted to talk to you directly about any business. They want to talk to your team or your management. That was the first thing. Another thing that was very, very, very different was the fact that you have to do all the contracts for shows. So, for example, most of my early shows in you know, not even in the UK, like we used to go to Kenya, a lot of the African countries, all right? So they will say, all right, cool, we want to book you for this show. We need a contract. So they will actually demand a contract from you before they give you. So it's like 2 different contracts. And I didn't know anything about it. I had never had that experience in Ghana, you know, and they will ask you for invoices and all of that. It was very new to me. And so when I moved to England, my manager was here in Ghana, and I was loaned to a different team. So I had to quickly learn. I had to quickly learn how the business side of things, you know, went.
What was it like having your music, you know, on the airwaves? On, you know, some of the stations would not play at that time. Would not play. I shouldn't say African music or maybe Ghanaian. You know, Ghanaian songs were not going to make it onto mainstream airwaves. You know, and how was it like having your song, you know, penetrating those markets, to those places? Was there any tough times around it? Did it come with any setbacks? Do you have to pay any price for those things?
I mean, so in the UK, it works very differently, all right? So when Ghanaians say, oh, my song is a hit in the UK, it's a whole different thing. When they say my song is a hit in the UK, you have to ask them, where is it hitting, all right? So remember, when my song was a hit, it was an underground hit in the UK, all right? That's how it starts for all songs. Underground hits, it starts in the clubs and maybe a little bit of social media. That's what they call underground hits. And then from there, if you are able to get a deal, or if you get some good network link, then they can try and give you a little bit, another type of hit, which is a little bit above the underground hit, all right? So, for example, if you talk of BBC, for example, they got BBC One, all right? BBC One is the main radio station that makes hits.
Right.
All right? Right. Now, and then we got BBC One Extra. All right? So BBC One Extra will take the songs which are underground hit and try it on there to see if people like it, all right? Right? So most of the songs that are doing well in England from Ghana and other places will start from BBC One Extra, all right? That's a group stage. That doesn't mean you've made a hit. But I know that so many people they say, oh, no, that's not it, all right? Because on BBC One Extra, they got what they call specialist shows. So specialist shows is that you got, let's say, DJ Brantier, all right, or whoever, okay? He's a specialist. They're giving him the chance to choose the songs that are doing well underground. Music, all right? So that's what they call specialist shows. So those specialist shows, he has the right to choose. But if he does well on there, then they can playlist the song on there. Then you can have proper rotation. You're still not made it yet. Until it gets traction to a level where it can be moved to Radio 1. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you get moved to Radio 1, then you're getting there. The same applies. So in the UK, there are like 3 or 4. There's so many mainstream stations. I'm talking about mainstream stations that play Afrobeat. There are like 3 or 4, all right? So we've got things like Kiss FM. All right, Kiss FM is another mainstream one. They also have Kiss Fresh, yeah, which is like BBC One Extra. So they also have to try your songs on there for you to get traction before it can be moved to the main Kiss FM by specialist DJs. That you see how?
Yeah.
So to come back to your question, my song was a big underground hit. All right, got on BBC One Extra, got playlisted, and it went on to BBC One. All right, but it didn't stay long on BBC One. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's another thing that people don't know. So also in the UK, they give chances to reach opportunities to different regions. All right. So for example, they have to say, oh, okay, we need 2 or 3 guys to be in the playlist from West Africa. All right. We need 2 or 3 guys to be in the playlist from Jamaica. You know, I'm talking about black music. So they have to share it. All right. So when I was there at the time, when I left my spot, Fuso Digi took my spot. When Fuso, do you understand? That's how it works. Yeah. So they kind of divided for everyone to, because remember, London in itself is a very multicultural place, all right? So even with BBC One Extra, they got another one for Asians, where they try a lot of Asian music as well. So that's how it works.
Let me ask, this is a roundhouse question on what advantages does such a system present? Because I mean, here we have a space where everybody is Radio 1. Everybody's Radio 1.
Yeah.
What does, because this is a media format that can it be adopted in our part of the world?
I think for me, it levels the playing ground. It gives everybody opportunity to get a fair hearing, because if this is the process it goes through, then at least you get opportunity to have your listeners or your audience have a taste of new music from a particular region. But what I wanted to find out from him is if there's a conversation of payola in this.
I'll get to that. Also, so that system I've explained, what it does is that they also use the UK charts. The main UK chart, there's so many little other charts, but I'm talking about the main. So if your song charts, all right, if you have like 3 or 4 charts within, let's say 2 or 3 years, you become like a premier artist. So someone like Stormzy, his songs could go to Radio 1 straight.
Right.
You don't have to try it.
Right.
All right. So someone like Stormzy, there's another guy called Heady One.
Heady One, yes, Ghanaian.
Yeah. Now Central C is one of them. All right. And then Ed Sheeran and all those people. So they are like royalty. So that's how it works in the UK. If you're able to be in the charts for a couple of years, then they make you like royalty, all right? Then automatically your songs go into the charts.
Right.
Or into Radio 1, all right?
Right.
Even with Radio 1, they have levels. All right? That's why someone like Ed Sheeran, so they got playlist A, B to Z. All right, so if you're like A or B, like one day within a day, your song could be rinsed like 20 times or 200 times within a day. So your money making level, do you understand?
Keeps going up.
And then over the years they keep dropping it. So that's why people like Elton John and all those people till date they'll still be able to. Do you understand? But my song did not chart.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So my song was charted in some other charts, but not the main charts.
The main charts.
Yeah. So that's why my song got dropped from BBC Radio 1. But I am still in the big playlist of Extra 1 and all the other. So that's how it works.
So okay. So do artists get opportunity to pitch their music?
Okay, so now you are bringing the payola business.
Yes,
back
did they get
so
to pitch their music?
In the UK, there's a different system, all right? Like I told you, I had to learn the ropes, the business side as well, okay? So they've got what they call the plug system. The plug system. So we got what we call regional plug and national plug.
Hard.
So if I do a song right now that's doing very well, I said that's doing very well. I have to have numbers
to prove.
Then I can go to a regional plugger, to say, all right, can you plug my song for me? That plugger will take money.
Okay.
All right, will take big money. All right. Okay. I've done so many, like my song One Love that you played before. Yeah. I plugged it. I did a national plug for it. Wow. I paid.
You paid money.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Cash.
Yeah. So because the song was doing well at the time, when I released it, I don't know if you remember, there was some European girl. She was pregnant, white girl. She used the song to dance at the time,
Oh.
and it went viral.
Yeah.
So because of that, I had to do a plug because they could see that there was traction on the song.
Yeah.
All right. So I did regional plug and I did a national plug. So the regional plug, they will plug it to all the regional, so for example Birmingham or the Pirates and the mainstream and then Manchester, and they will do that. And then we got national plug as well. The national plug is mainstream. But the way it works is that the pluggers will plug it. In the UK there's no more than 10 pluggers. Do you understand? There's not many. It's a niche companies that do that, all right? And the main record labels also have their own plugin system. So for me as an independent artist, I have to use one of those pluggers, not a label plugger. So go to them, you pay them, and they distribute the songs to the
Various
DJs, all right?
DJs.
You cannot, if you're my brother and you're on BBC, I can't send you a song to play because they only take songs from pluggers.
So these pluggers are more or less registered.
Yeah,
with
that's their job.
The media, with the media.
And then
company.
when they send the songs out, the DJs will give feedback. They say, "Oh, I like this. This will work for this. This will work for this," and that's how they collect the
reports,
their data.
Oh,
all right. That's how it is. Sometimes you can send a song out and they will tell you, "Oh, this won't work for the show I do." However, pitch it, and they will give you. It's like a system. That's how it works.
Built in.
Right? So we've got TV plug and we've got audio plug.
Audio plug, wow.
And then we call what they call press plug as well.
Your interviews and that.
Yes. So you have to do the press plug, you have to do online plug. So like Grime Daily, all the big blocks and things like that, they will do that. And they can even do like newspapers as well. And then they do the TV and all that. It's a whole
So I mean, I know Lenny has a question there, but just a quick one. So are you saying that if I'm a new artist and I don't have a song that is doing well with the numbers, right? I can't access these plugs. I need to have.
If you have money, but most of the time, if your songs are not doing well, they won't. You can approach them, but they won't work with you. That's from my experience.
Because they want to. You need to make the work easy for them.
They need to. Yes, they need to. Yeah. In the past, it was very different, but now with social media, and they need to see
so many musicians.
Yeah. And the labels don't sign people like like when I got signed with an option of an album, and they will help you. They don't do that no more. Nowhere in the UK. You have to have some presence.
I'll come back to my question.
I'm just interested in knowing about his still being an independent artist, because you mentioned that after. Oops. Okay, so I was just wanting to find out about your still being an independent artist, because after all this exposure, after knowing what to do, right? Why are you still independent? What's informing that decision to still be an independent artist?
It's a very good question.
If you had a way, would you be signed to a label now?
No. No. The biggest artists in the UK are all independent, all right? They've got some sort of label arrangement, all right? Maybe for distribution or for the press and all of that, but they own 100%. Independent, being signed to a label is a whole different thing, all right? I've been there before and I know how it works, so I'm not talking about just any label. I'm talking about mainstream label like Warner or Sony, Ministry of Sound. That's what I'm talking about, all right? The way they work is very, very, very different, They put a lot of money into you, all right, in areas that you could never imagine. Okay. However, they got a term called recoup. They have to recoup. They have to be able to make it. So they may pay you up front, all right, and they will exploit your song. That's the word they use, and then they will make bag of money for it, all right. However, because they've paid you,
you can't touch it.
For example, if they paid you 25,000, all right, and they made 300,000, you can't do nothing about it. All right. So most of the new crop of artists, Central C is independent. He's always been independent. So what he will do is that he will work with a label for the plugin, all right, and things like that. He's signed to them. They will make some money off, but they are not making. They don't own nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's
it's just in it for the system.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it like for Ghanaian artists? Because you relocated, from Ghana to the UK. So what is it like for Ghanaian artists and the kind of reception for our songs these days? You mean
our songs in the UK?
Yes. I mean, for Ghanaian artists, because Afrobeats has a big community in the UK, and Jay was talking to me about your relationship with the DJ Abrante and how the whole Afrobeats, where you guys witnessed it firsthand.
We started it. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and blow my own horn. All right, the work we put in the UK is what is giving all the guys now. You know, Burna Boy and all of them, they're benefiting from what we put in. All right. I did a show. You remember 2014? I did a show in Kenya with Burna Boy. We stayed in the same hotel. You know, and he used to say, "Listen, I'm a big fan." You know, because that's what it is. When we went there, they had no idea what this was about. Do you understand?
That's why I go back to say Abrante. We need to give that guy.
Like small statue, not big ones.
DJ Abrante. If he, I mean, the last time I called him, I wanted to talk to him about this on air. I mean, he was like, "Give me time, Jay. Give me time," because when I open up to talk, there's going to be a lot of things. Because Abrante, sorry to catch you, but Abrante will say that. Listen, he says, even to get to play a local song. Like when I say local, I'm making reference to a Ghanaian song on Capital. He had to fight his way, you know. He just, I remember one story. If I can remember it clearly, Abrante, I stand to be correct, and in case I don't get the facts right. But I think he said that one evening or so, he pleaded for them to give him a chance to play. He had been fighting it, that give me a chance to play some of the songs I know from my home on air, because you know all the songs have to be sort of checked before you can just play.
Remember what I said earlier about specialist show. So DJ Abrante's show was a specialist show. Yeah. All right.
And this was in BBC Extra.
And most specialist shows, when your song's on specialist shows, you don't get no money for it because it's being, do you understand?
Right.
DJ Edu's show on Capital, BBC One Extra, it's a specialist show as well. You know, so that's how it worked. But the thing is, at the time, they had no idea what this sound was about. All right, I will tell you for a fact. In 2012, I was being shopped to about 8 labels. All right, that's how come I got a deal. I went to Sony. Sony, do you know, if you know about Sony ATV, it's a publishing. I went to Sony. I went to Decca Records. I went to all the big Sony, all of them. All right, all of them. They had no clue. They said, "What kind of music is it? Is it dancehall? Is it this?" They don't know. You know. And there's a guy called Kwame Kwarteng. If you can Google him. He's like he's Ghanaian, but he was born in the UK. All right.
Is it part of the Def Jam?
He's like one of the biggest A&R in the UK when it comes to black music, hands down. All right. So he is the guy DJ Abrante got because DJ Abrante at the time even didn't have the links to the labels like that. They knew him, but he didn't have direct, so we had to go through Kwame Kwarteng, and we went to, one day I remember, went to 8 different record labels.
Wow.
And when he went, he had to show them my catalog, and so they didn't know what is this. And some of them were like, "Okay, we'll get back to you," and only one of them got interested. You understand? In 2014, I recorded 20 songs. 20 songs, for Virgin Islands. If you know about Virgin Island, there's a guy there called Glenn Akins. He's also Ghanaian. He's the head of A&R at the time. All right, even him being a Ghanaian, he still didn't understand it. 20 songs for an album. They didn't get back to me on that. I'm telling you, because they had no clue what it was. They had no clue what it was. So that's how come, you know. But later on, over the years, 2016, 17, what happened was that there was a lifestyle that came with the Afrobeats. All right. In the UK, they will tell you a lot of Africans were not even proud to say they were Africans. So a lot of people were going to school pretending they were Jamaicans because the dancehall was the big thing at the time.
My name is Queen.
Exactly. So when that lifestyle,
it just had to do it.
Exactly. When that lifestyle started, I remember first time in the UK, I went to do an interview. Someone told me, "Why do you have dreadlocks? Are you Jamaican?" I said, "No." It was not a thing. Now everyone is. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So we kind of introduced a certain lifestyle with it, and the pidgin English we were speaking, and people started becoming interested in it.
So at what point did the impact of Azonto, more or less?
If I stop to use my hard disk.
At what point did the impact of Azonto break that jinx in the way? Because, like you said, you had your spot on BBC One, and then Fuse came, or Fuse then filled that spot after you left.
Yeah.
Was it the Azonto that allowed Fuse in?
Because it was a movement. That's the lifestyle I'm telling you about.
Right.
All right. So the lifestyle was about our dances, our kente cloth, and because if you look at the old Fuse ODG videos and everything, he was wearing kente.
Africanist look.
So now people were getting into it. All right, so you can't talk about the rise of Afrobeats and not talk about me and Fuse ODG. And now when I'm listening to a lot of the radio shows you do here in Ghana, and when I'm listening to it there, and you all talk about Afrobeats is Nigerian, I just sit down and I say, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. All right, when I went to the UK, 2011, 2012, 2013 to 2015, Fuse ODG was the man. All right, there was a time where the bunch was the man at the time, but the impact was not like Fuse ODG. If you get what I'm trying to say, because it was a movement, there was a dance and everything. Where it went wrong was when the Azonto changed to Al Qaeda. That's what killed it.
Ouch.
You know, and I'm not saying this to get any because I know people are going to take this and they'll come and start. You know, that's what killed it. Because the word Al Qaeda cannot be said on radio.
Terrorist.
True.
I used to be there and I used to say, what is happening? Why are you changing the name to this?
For lack of knowledge, my people perish.
But why did we even change it to Al Qaeda?
That's what
the song.
It's so true.
Azonto was a big thing. Everyone was getting involved. So you know what happens is that I'll tell you just prospectively so that you know. So now Afrobeat is bubbling, all right. It started with Shoki and all the other dances. Remember?
Yeah.
And then all those dances came from what? Azonto. All right, came from Azonto. However, the world was looking at the originators of the Azonto dance. But we were not channeling it. We were not doing it at the time, and we're doing something else.
We were focusing on other things.
And the name changed for, I think, between 2015, 2016 or something like that. The Ghanaians were not talking about Azonto no more. It was Al Qaeda and something else. I said, oh God. DJ Branter used to say, why are they calling it Al Qaeda? DJ, he said, because I can't say this on radio.
Yeah.
Now it's making sense.
Right? It's not like.
Charlie, we held the knife, gave it to a baby, and said, "Catch me!"
And so that was the time that the Nigerians brought the Shoki, and the Shoki took over. And since then, they've been bringing new dances, still with the Afrobeats.
So a term limited our reach. A terminology
you can't say that on radio.
Not a terminology, a lack of
knowledge in naming.
Yeah.
No, you don't think it was over excitement, over exuberance that
no, you see,
we were just
it was ignorance, because even in Ghana, that we have had ISIS and Boko Haram and all sorts of things mentioned in our press, a media space that was well sanitized should not have been encouraging
songs that had Al
Qaeda even on Ghana radio. When Al Qaeda became a symbol of global terrorist representation and negativity and everything, we thinking it's funny and it's another thing, and when you're saying Al Qaeda.
I know so many influential people who were on radio at the time that had a problem with that name. So many, I can mention so many, and they could not promote it.
You know what's piquing my interest now? Why at the time we couldn't say anything about it? Because I think the four of us are all surprised that Al Qaeda was, the limitation. I honestly, I didn't also, same. But what was done to curtail that so that we go back to our Azonto?
You know what? Fuse ODG did his thing. He was the guy that held it. He held it. You understand? He held it high for like good four years. Yeah. And then later on, when he was doing the Azonto,
I'm told he was the first Ghanaian to peak on the UK charts.
Not the first Ghanaian. There's been a lot of Tinchy Strider. There's been people.
No. I mean, when I say first Ghanaian,
you mean for this movement?
For this movement.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Wow.
He had like 4 or 5.
I mean, Stormzy and Tinchy are all Ghanaians, but I'm saying like
they are not Ghanaian artists.
They're not.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Heritage, not Ghana.
You guys, you have to understand. You have to see where people are coming from.
Yeah.
We should. Ghanaians more powerful. Not much for you understand?
Yeah, I feel you.
Are you sure they are there saying they are Ghanaian artists?
Well, like you said, Azonto made it so cool for everybody to now want to affiliate with being Ghanaian.
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I'm saying.
It's
Fuse
like
ODG
it's like
the only
everybody
person.
outside. You see, the story he's saying is almost the opposite of what was happening on the ground.
Yeah,
While
yeah,
they were there in the UK loving this and seeing an identity and a movement form, we were here in Ghana artists, some Ghana pandits, Ghana music fans. We're also consciously trying to kill Azonto. Not even before Al Qaeda happened.
I'll tell you
we are
another
trying
story.
to move on too quickly.
Yes.
I'll tell you another story. That's the thing. We are always quick to move
Quick
on.
to move on.
Yeah, do you see how
You know why? Do you know why we're always too quick to move on? Because we don't want to give due respect. You see, the man is on an interview and he's mentioned Fuse ODG more than he's mentioned himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's selflessness.
Due credit. Yeah.
That's due credit. We don't like to do that. Olele is the one who brought Azonto. If I let Azonto reign for 5 years, 6 years, that means we are going to be holding Olele in high esteem for 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
And
we
yeah,
want to
he
share the
has
glory.
spent 6
Yeah.
months. Let's move on. Lenny, you two, what do you have? That is what. And the first thing that happened with Azonto here was a fight. Who played the beat first?
Yeah,
Who bring
who
the
brought it
dance
first?
first?
Yeah.
Maybe for Teshi people, maybe for Osu people, maybe for Labadi people. We started fighting about the thing, even before the thing could be fruitful for all of us. So while you were enjoying it and seeing the potential in the UK, this is the nonsense that was happening here.
I mean, remember those days I used to go back. I used to come and go. Come and go. But the thing is, someone like Kelvin Boy, all right? Right from when he got into the limelight, he started preaching Afrobeats.
He's
All
always
right?
said it. Yeah.
I have been preaching Afrobeats for a long time. I was one of the first people to do a documentary about Afrobeats for the BBC.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes, no one talks about it. They don't even mention it. The last time I saw something on Netflix about it, and they took excerpts. So, and I was like, you guys, you have no idea what you're talking about. All right? The Afrobeat at the time, it was just a new name for all African music. It was not a name for Nigerian music. At the time, it was just a new name for every sound that was coming from Africa.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Stonebwoy also at the time started doing some Afro dancehall, which was also an umbrella under what? Afrobeats. So but that's what we should have done. All right? Yes, we have our high life. Our high life is also Afrobeats when it travels. To say, yeah, what shot there or Ghana, Abuche, Ebaha, a friend saying Bruni, but it hasn't changed. It's the same music. So what was happening at the time, or what the gatekeepers at the time was hoping to do, was to just rebrand the sounds that were coming from Africa, yeah, to be able to make it marketable. All right. So in Nigeria, that was not the intention, but it got to a point because we were doing something else. Other people were. That's when Nigerians owned it.
Yeah, we just got chaotic with our own music.
Yeah, so I'm one of the first people that got an Afrobeat hit in the UK, and you're telling me that Afrobeat is from Nigeria.
So would you say that if Azonto was allowed to have its flow, would we then have two different, representations of the African sound?
No.
Where you have Afrobeats and you have Azonto?
No, we never. So Azonto was not a genre.
Okay.
And again, that's another thing. In the UK, we never saw Azonto as a genre.
Right.
But I think in Ghana, some people thought it was a genre. So they say, we do Azonto artists. You know what I mean? We never saw it as it was just a dance that accompanied Afrobeats. So at the time, you cannot talk about Afrobeats without Azonto.
Right.
Shy.
You see, the same way as you talk about, to say, we call UK, they got music called drum and bass, all right? Or they got what they call garage. Garage. And they got a dance called cutting shapes. You cannot talk about garage without cutting shapes.
Right.
That's what it was. So that's what I told you about the lifestyle and the package it came with.
So it's just like, Cyril, just like what you talked about the last time, hip-hop. Hip-hop has a culture. It has a lifestyle. It's not just...
We're so close to sparking a
we got to
global
every when somebody hits reverse.
Yeah. So that means...
So again,
pause the car.
we have to give props to EO at the time when my song blew. EO had a tune at the time.
You Could Kill Me.
So I called all those songs. Stay J.
Yeah,
Shashiwo. All those songs were one of the they didn't get they were not as big as the thing, and that one there. But that's the truth. But what I'm saying is that all those songs were part of the movement, of the Afrobeat movement. When we go to those days, Mikasa, me, Stage J, Sarko, they went to do a show O2 called the afrobeats something O2 those days, you know. It was an afrobeat show. Yeah. This is way back in 2012. Yeah. So why are you telling me that afrobeats in Nigeria for that?
An afrobeat festival. BBNZ guys had an afrobeat festival at Independence Square or the Arc, whatever.
Blackstar Square.
Long time ago.
All right, and another thing you have to remember, they're one of the biggest Afrobeats events ever. All right, that was done in 2013. Was done in a place called Somerset House. Somerset House.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, you know. And DJ Branty at the time, he did one of the earliest Afrobeats festivals. Guess who I'm the headlining? Myself, Olu Maintain, and in Nigeria because remember at the time the plan was to package it as an African sound or something like a West African sound, not a Nigerian sound. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That was what it was.
It was 2013.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, someone said festival. I remember.
Yes.
Guys, Real Drumz.
Yeah.
The name.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
You want to cool him down small. Eh?
No. Aside cooling him down, aside wanting to cool him down, I also want to ask that and ask something like branch it into something else. But first, I want to know where that came from.
You know, I can't talk.
Why the change?
I can't talk too much about it because it was a personal change. It was a personal reasons why I had to do it. But it was also strategically beneficial that I did that because my name was held in some contract. You know, and you know, that's all I can say for now.
Yeah,
I had to change it. You know, there's an artist in the UK called Chipmunk. Have you heard of Chipmunk?
Yeah,
he put his head in some contract at the time. He couldn't, and he could not release songs under that name, so he changed his name to Chip.
Okay. So that's why he changed it to Chip.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's personal, but a lot of people. But the thing is, Atumpan means the talking drums.
Yes.
So I didn't really change it. Basically, me just brought for side and fire, which I don't like it. No, but it was a strategic and a business decision.
Is the Real Drumz giving you the identity that you seek or that you think you need?
Not at the moment. If you ask me, not at the moment, and I know where you're coming from with this. But one thing that you a lot of people don't know is that when it comes to artists so artists be any trim or hasisia or trying to trim session they only trim.
It's plenty.
Why dream boom? Because for what the artist sees, usually the people can't envisage it until it comes to light. All right. When I was an underground artist, for 10 years. I started in 1999. All right. No one saw my dream. When I said my name was Atumpan, people said, "What demons?" No. Until I made a hit of it. All right, so say I'm saying me buy na me kuta big hit from UK and come on me from me Real Drumz. Some question That's how it works. All right. So for me, I know, like I said, I've been studying this for a long time. If I come here, me better not Ghana person make it hit, not make it hitter. Me call me some say but me buy me kuta hit be until I will be some sana. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a
no, I get that. No, because I also think that we all need to understand why the change.
And I'll give you another reason. You know, remember when Samini changed his name to from Batman to Samini? So is it going to work? But he made hits after hits. No one remembers, you know. So that's how it works. But I will be back properly. Don't worry.
I'm looking forward to that because you see the thing with. It's like remixes, right? The originals stay in people's minds more than the remixes.
100%.
The remix takes a longer time to grow on people,
You're right.
That's why I'm asking about the name.
But
People
will
still ledge onto Atumpan,
if you watch
and
his
then
Sting video.
exactly, you know, there's a difference.
Manager shout out.
People will still ledge on to that and not even know that he has changed his name to Real Drumz. Has any PR gone into it, you know, just to create awareness that Atumpan has become Real Drumz? Because for Batman, he went from Batman to Batman Samini and then to Samini, right? And then we knew about it. But I also want to know, has there been that conscious PR to say to everybody that, oh, Atumpan or Atumpan or however people will want to pronounce it has now, rebranded not the music but also just the name, so that we are able to still connect with that.
Branding now,
Come on.
but one thing I'm a person can say, there's a lot of things, but also as you grow as a man, there comes a times where you have to prioritize, all right, and see what you want to do. There was a time that the whole thing about fame and it was not attractive to me no more. Even Jay had to convince me to come. Yeah. I've been in Ghana for 2 weeks and I've never gone to any radio station or anything, because that's not my focus at the moment, all right? So my focus is on other things, so I'm working on those. When the times comes back and I have to come back properly with the showbiz, then you will see.
Fingers crossed.
Let's talk about real quickly. Oh, our time is up. We have to run out of here.
I wanted to, I don't know if you could touch a little bit on
that might be in a minute.
Sonny Bali as well. He also relocated to the UK. It looks like there was like a batch of you guys who just went into the UK trying to do your bits and everything. He's later now, but before we do that, I think Jay.
Well, yes, we have to just sign out from Plus 89.9 FM right now. It's 10 o'clock, but it's been good having you listen to us on that radio station as well. Plus is our family. And please, ladies and gentlemen, you can continue the conversation with us on TV as well. Well, there's more music coming on Plus FM, so make sure you tune in there and jam some real good music. Let me say a happy birthday going out to Azay. Azay, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, woman. Sweet and sound. And also big shouts going on to Leslie as well. I already mentioned his name. Anyway, so on that note, we're back again same time tomorrow, but the podcast convo will be on our socials on YouTube later on in the day, plus a repeat back on TV at 10 p.m. On that note, Plus FM, thank you very much. Let's wrap up in the next 10 minutes right here on TV, like you're saying.
Yes. So Sonny Bali, may his soul rest in perfect peace. What was his contribution also at the time in the UK? Because I think he also had a big song, doing the rounds. Your relationship, did you have a relationship or did you guys work together and all that?
Yeah, I had a very good relationship with Sonny. He used to come to my studio a lot. In the last days, he was even asking me to manage him at a point. Yes, so I really have a good... But I think when he was big in the UK, I was not there at the time.
Oh, okay.
Right. So when I went to the UK, he was also doing other things, more business and more life, So I can't say much about that. But you did say that there's a few of us that went to...
Yeah, it's like a batch of you
myself, Reggie, Bolly, and Kasey.
Yeah. Ikase of Chobot of him?
Yes, both of them are in the UK as well. What's the
brothers?
No, the dancehall guy now Samini Monya Sonny Bali, the other guy. Yogi Dogi. Yeah, big up Yogi Dogi. That's a few of us. And the ball, our coast, old time dancehall artists, guy be. They're all in the UK. So many people. Wow. So. And I don't know why, but the minimum say the UK is a place that they really cherish entertainment. All right, into all the biggest Nigerian artists you see, and more take off in started with you.
Yeah, that's true.
America was not very receptive of other sounds. Back in the day, they all looked up to the UK, so it was like a good place to start, and I think that's the reason why a lot of us. But for me, they made me worry, and I'm
sharp.
I had to go and be there. I didn't want to be away from my kids. Right. So that's the reason why I went to the UK. Yeah.
So finally, for me, my last question would be: having amassed all this knowledge, and how even that region works and everything, what would you say to artists, whether those who are upcoming, promising, established, whatsoever, looking to penetrate in a market that obviously has become a stronghold for our cousins? Clearly you form part of the leaders who understood the region, because even with this breakdown, BBC, one extra, look, if you don't know, you don't know. You get what I'm saying? And I really appreciate the fact that you took your time to break it down to let them understand, and I hope our listeners and our viewers also had the opportunity to see what the system is like. So based on this knowledge, how are you going to more or less transfer, or have you had the opportunity to even talk to some of the artists that are bubbling now to say, hey, Yenise, and what has been some of the responses that you've received?
I mean, personally, what I'm doing, I'm my project be Ghana. That's why I came. I'm trying to set up a record label.
Okay.
And I'm trying to partner with
Nice.
an international label.
Right.
Because, so that's why I came.
Sweet.
But I do not want to start talking about things when it has not taken shape.
Right.
So personally, I'll be back to help with the industry, with the little knowledge I've gained outside, all right?
Right.
But also about other artists on mobile. I do speak to a lot of artists, like Kevin Boy, who really did the last year hit, was it
Down
last
Flat.
year?
Down flat.
Yeah. Me sending a message, and I'm kind of saying, you've got something that can work in the UK. All right? In the UK, the way it works, and it says, so we release a new mobile, baby, 10 years, you can come back there and re-release it.
Okay.
So I told him, I sent him a message, and I said, I think the best way for you to do that is get a UK artist on it. All right. And I was willing to try and help him get someone. He received it well. He sent me a voice note and said he's really appreciate, and then they got someone on it. But I think they did that a little bit too late because time and that traction it was that was when he should have done it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another thing I would tell you is Kiddy so yeah, Nyumbi.
Touch it.
And you touch it. But I could be myself. I don't remember.
Say
song.
cheese, take a picture.
Say cheese. That was a big tune in the UK, all right? He should have got a UK artist on it. Me try some link, but I'll link me to him,
Wow.
And I'm messaging, so I never got any reply, and so I didn't bother myself. But that's how it is in the UK. So it's a UK for failure.
You need to find
it's only a good way to get someone in the UK. I'm talking about mainstream artists in the UK to jump on it, and re-release it in the UK. They like that.
Wow.
They like that, So that's the kind of things I'm helping with some of these young people.
That's
Okay,
actually
thank you so
really
much.
nice. Like I like the fact that he's you're making steps,
I've spoken to
all
so
of
many
these
people. Even Kweku Frimpong, when they were coming, all of them, I send a message. I say, listen, me feel you, and this sound we bit me. There's a guy called Walasi who also did a song that was almost getting in there, but. There's so many people that are doing well.
You're very selfless, bro.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is that me buy, you call club near the there's a good songs for house songs. I mean, who say what potential waiting I hate for UK, But then so Hona would take Ghana radio. The muya and some would dissing for you're always dissing them, and also comparing them to the Nigerians. Stop doing that. Yeah, stop doing that, because to the outside world, I'm going to say I am desperate. Yeah, envy Nigerians. That's how it comes across. All right, because we got so much.
Say my cousins.
We got so much. Just encourage them to do it, because at a time, most of me catch say a time. In Nigeria for the time at this time, it doesn't mean say we are not good. We are equally good. But let's try and help them and get investors involved rather than say, it's too much.
Let's just quickly put this on the screen. If we can do a picture-in-picture. This is a throwback to 2012 and 2013. Serial pulled this off the archives. This is BBNZ Opens Afrobeats Festival. This is way back in November 2013.
Yeah.
That's how far back. This goes back to.
And then there's the Somerset one.
Yeah, here comes. I said this goes back to what he was saying with regards to how far back Ghana had taken this Afrobeats, game. And then the next one is, Deborah had this post also back in 2012, July 6th. There's DJ Brante presents Afrobeats at Somerset House with the Atumpan, Olumaintain, Vice Squad, and others. July 14th. Look at that.
Wow.
2012.
Where did we lose it?
2012, we were talking Afrobeats.
Where did we lose it? Really?
2012, we were talking Afrobeats. 2023,
11 years ago.
We are fighting, begging
for what we started.
And this is not Afrobeats artists, though. That means we had enough to have shows.
Yeah.
In 2012 and 2013.
Do you remember this guy called Mr. Silver?
Yeah.
Before he started doing Afrobeat, he was a big drum and bass thing. He had his own. All of them stopped to jump on the bandwagon in London. Corpse, Flavor, all of Kwams and they jumped on the Afrobeat bandwagons, and these are Ghanaians.
We are
so
sorry.
You can't tell me it's from Niger. It's not.
All we can say is we are sorry. We apologize because. Mind busting.
Next time, don't be stop her.
We have a minute to go. What are the new current stuff?
I'm going to be dropping an album next month. It's called Evergreen. It's a 20-track album. Me back Ghana, I've done a few videos for it as well, and I just want to say, Obia was supporting me right from the beginning. Biano, you know, God bless you, Jay Foley, man. You've always been the man.
Now we are family.
You know what I mean? And then also, I mean, my parents, you know, for being very supportive with what I'm doing. And then my missus, I came with my missus on stage. So Mariam, yeah, thanks for all the support. One thing is I betray so now your music now unjai music no boy you man to one now when your wife for best support how you be boom. It's you know I'm just grateful. And also my professor Professor Brinkrein of Winneba, former pro-vice chancellor of Winneba University, Kobe Boss, Osofo, and all my guys up here, all of you, you know, thank you for the love, you know. Yeah.
Definitely, my brother, Real Drumz, aka FKAA Atumpan, FKAA Kwame. No, like anytime I go to London, right? Like, yo, Charlie, he cooks well.
You have
know.
to come through.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to come through.
Yeah, he cooks
I
good.
go to studio. I go be beer or be beer. You know,
cooks
come
good.
through.
He cooks
If you come
good.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll make it.
Don't go and finish his food. He
You
did
don't say me I like free.
he did not say
You don't say me I say I like free.
Charlie,
Eh?
the last meal was some good boiled yam and what do you call it? A stew.
Yeah.
Plenty. The meat chop has a stew served. So we take them like that. On that note, well, Charlie, thank you so much for a great occasion. I know you didn't want to step out, but it's all good. At least you managed to pull you out. He's out very soon as well. So we'll definitely catch up again when you come back.
Yeah.
On that note, our time is up. We have to go. It's Tuesdays till the day still runs, but more to come within the week right here on Culture Daily. So do stay with us and enjoy. We out.